Of course, the fun doesn't stop there because I'm sitting in and what comes across the desk? Well, it turns out that there's many companies that are acting a fool these days. There's many companies that are not taking shit seriously and looking at it and going, but what if we keep it going though? I hear you.
What if though,
I hear
man?
you, and I'm gonna let you finish. But what if money though? And boy, was I shocked and awed to see that one Keywords, which is the company that purchased my old company, Babel, QA,
Oh yeah.
QA outsourcing extraordinaire. They basically had, there's an article that was written up, and again, credits to, let me get the name properly over here, because it was, this came from rankandfile.ca, where effectively game workers employed at Keyword Studio, the largest quality assurance studio in Montreal, say they are pressured to work on site through the COVID-19 pandemic, while senior staff and management are allowed to work from home.
Crazy. But I don't understand, Woolie. Why not let everyone work from?
Because Wetnaps, bro. Fucking Wetnaps. For those of you who might have missed it, I told a story at least twice before where we used to work in an office where you have to sit at a test station, at a workstation, use test kits, share controllers, share builds, share desks, share seats. You don't know. You might sit here today, you might be there tomorrow. It is a place that there is very little division, a couple of different secure offices, but for the most part, if anyone gets sick in any way, shape, or form, everyone's fucking catching it, because controllers, dude, it's gross enough that you just don't want to deal with people's fucking sweat and cooties, But this is all way back in the day, and me and the guy I'm working with are sitting there, and we're looking, because the policy for the longest while in this company, as it was growing to be, it started small and it got bigger. The policy was always, here is the bag of Wetnaps that you can pull up, and at the end of your shift, you wipe your shit down. You wipe your controllers down, your station, your keyboard. You wipe everything down in the area you're in, because you don't know where you're going to sit tomorrow. Very simple, basic, right? Let's play it safe. Well, it turns out that the $13.99, the $14.99 at Pharmaprix was too much on the expenses, and eventually they had to cut back. They had to cut back on the less than $20 a week to provide everyone with Wetnaps for the day, because
That's way too much.
we gotta save where we can. We can't be wasting funds. Look at this. We can turn it around and we can show you the number of how much money we saved. So the big old bucket that used to be filled up eventually just stayed dry and empty. Hey guys, where are the Wetnaps this week? Oh, we didn't get any, Hey, where are they next week? Oh, we didn't. Yeah, you know what? I think from now on, we're just not going to be doing that anymore. Might be.
We're not going to be doing that anymore?
Turns out we're not going to be doing that anymore. Cool. And then me and my friend that were sitting there, and it's been so long, so the details escape me, but we just sat there, counted the testers on the floor, did an approximate fucking number breakdown on it, and went like, this is how many Wetnaps you would need. This is how many are in a package. This is
how
what
much would it cost a day per week,
etc. Right? It was a fucking pittance. It was your lunch times 2. It was nothing. And the company was like, nah, fuck that. We got to save that much in exchange for the health of everyone on the floor. Because literally, one person is all it takes, And yeah, we're just like, no, fuck that. We don't want to do that anymore.
Get some cold, get some flu on this controller, on that keyboard.
Can we maybe replace it with sanitizer squeezes at the doors or something? No? Cool. So just nothing then. Just the dirty kits.
Yeah, that's correct.
You finish, you log out at the end of the day, you wipe your balls with the controller, hawk a loogie on it, and toss it back at the table. Dope. Sounds good. Eventually, the level of absurdity hit such a point that anytime anything happened where it was like the most simple competence could have solved this problem, but management refused to be competent.
Management, man.
We just looked at each other and just went, hey, man, Wetnaps. Wetnaps, bro. You know?
Every time.
End of the day, what happened over there? Oh, Wetnaps. What do you think happened? It was incredible. It was incredible. So now we fast forward to this company, the same place. Turns out that when people are fucking getting sick and a pandemic is literally ravaging the planet, they're like, yeah, but come in and do those tests though. We're going to be at home because we know how serious it is, but you guys come in and do those tests. Keep it going. And
hey, I'm going to say something controversial here. I think if some video games get hit with some delays, we'll all be fine.
Listen, it is more than likely that there's currently a recession. It is more than likely that there will be a depression after this. It is more than likely, right? It is not going to be a good time for a fuck ton of people out there. It's just common sense, right? We know the deal. You can see this coming. The idea in the process that these companies are going to do whatever it takes to minimize their impact is, again, it's not unpredictable, but it's when you see it's that little twist of the managers themselves being at home that sends me over the edge.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's because it's that little extra detail that makes it unforgivable fucking scum. Now and shout outs to our friend James Small, who gave a nice big reply with some context on the tweet that I put out last night, more or less describing that the outsourcing QA situation is so desperate and so fucked because of how the companies have been undercutting each other over the years, that there is a permanent alertness and fear that if for any reason they did not deliver or show up to give the QA hours they promised, they would lose all their contracts and someone would just come in, because they're already playing a game of like, we are hanging on by a thread to this company. We might just as easily tomorrow switch to that one. And it's such a fucking, like, it's a hostile buyer's market already. So, like, what do the lives of your testers matter? Or their families?
I mean, you don't have to pay people when they're dead. You don't. Because they don't. That's like free labor.
People deserve to generally have an idea whether or not the company that they're trying to work for is willing to let them die so that business would continue. I mean, once upon a time, there were coal mines and people that were like, you're fine, just go in and breathe it in. If the canary drops, you're then get out, but you're fine, right? Once upon a time, there were insert insanely high risk, not safe, dangerous job here, where preventable injury and death could have been, it could have happened but didn't, right? Mm-hmm. Whatever the case may be. A lot of that, you don't really encounter these moments in like, I guess, North America as much as you know, in general. You kind of hear about fucked up shit in other places, and it's fucking awful, right? But this is just a nice moment where it's laid bare. You know, you get to strip the skin off and see the monster underneath, and kind of go like,
I don't know, man. I would get ill with bronchitis every year at that grocery store, and every single time I tried to call in sick, she would accuse me of faking it and yell at me to come in anyway. Like, I feel if I had said, "Hey, Julie, I have the COVID," she'd be like, "I don't believe you. Come in anyway." And she was just the manager. She wasn't even the fucking owner. Like, I assume that the vast majority of stores and businesses, if they were in the process of going bankrupt, like GameStop is, would have acted just as poorly.
wow.
Also, you're kind of insane.
I am no. I'm being educated right now before you even speak up. We are Canadian boys. We are Canadian boys sitting in Canada. Everyone,
no, don't include me in this.
All right, everyone.
You haven't worked retail in a long time.
Everyone has been very clear in their statement that this shit happens all the time in America. This is the norm. It is super common to see this. It's fucked.
It's fucked. So we got to burn it all down, man. Got to burn it all down. I mean,
well,
metaphorically.
Well, those are my thoughts on the matter, delivered into the microphone for this podcast.
I wish I could live in the world that you lived in 2 weeks ago, that you got to be surprised by this shit.
It's different. It's not like, I don't think it's not that I thought about it's not that I thought GameStop was benevolent to their employees, and that there was this you know, sense of camaraderie and family and corporate bullshit. It's not that any of that was the case 2 weeks ago. It's that when it comes down to it and it's happening live in front of your face, and you get to hear the voices on the phone of the people who are like actually just okaying spreading disease, like when it comes down to staring raw at it, it's going to ignite something way fucking stronger than the dismissive, this is late stage capitalism, this is a boring dystopia. I mean, of course, that cynicism is always there. But it's just, like, when you see that moment, right, you go, cool, can we screenshot this? Can we frame it? And then make sure to point to it in the near future. That's
see, here's the part that like when I say, like, I wish I could live in the world that you lived in 2 weeks ago. When I first started working at the store, they told me anyone who goes down to the basement for the store has to wear steel-toed boots, because there's people that are moving pallets around and stuff like that. It's easy to break your foot. That's a very common injury. And if you break your foot down there, they'll be pissed off at you, because you might get fired if your seniority isn't enough, if you take time off, workers' comp, yada yada. And I went, okay, fine. Where do I get my steel-toed boots? And they said, oh, go down to a hardware store or a handyman store and get one. And I'm like, pardon? They're like, yeah, go get your steel-toed boots. And I was like, oh, you're just yelling at me to not get on the job that you're telling me to do and to fix it myself. When I was told that by my boss, I immediately knew, oh, he doesn't care if I get hurt or even die down in the basement with all that machinery. He's just trying to fucking get away from my goddamn, like, potential lawsuit.
Yeah. I don't want your framing of this on me to be like, oh, Wooly, you're some sort of naive summer child that doesn't understand the ways of the world here, because like it is not remotely surprising to me that, you know, every time you see I don't know, for example, it's like you see a fucking, hey, you know what's going to help, you know what someone's healthcare program looks like in America in many cases? It's a GoFundMe. Yeah. And you go like, that's fucking disgusting, right? But that's how that normally goes. And you're like, yeah, that's how it is. You know about that. That's expected, right? That's fucking trash, but hey, yep, that's what it is, right? But there's a difference between encountering that on the regular and then reading the story about the lady who donated her kidney to save her boss's life, and then said boss laid off that kidney donor for needing more time to recover and not being able to work in the meantime. Like, when that story hits, you go, oh, okay. I mean, I know that this is the environment that breeds this type of situation. But when the situation comes and you read and you see that happen, and especially if you're on the fucking call hearing it, you're gonna get fucking disgusted by it, most certainly, you know? So that's it.
No, but, well, I mean, Wooly, we're just gonna go in another circle. It's like, yeah, there's only so many of those that can be shocking. Like I've been hearing and seeing and experiencing that for like 20 years.
Well,
and so have you to a degree.
Okay, but I'd like you to take a look.
Shock come from?
Take a look at the amount of shock at the people who didn't know about that story, hearing it in the chat right now. None of like, you're not seeing people go, oh yeah, that's fuck. Everyone that just didn't know about that person that got fired for donating a kidney to the boss that's life was saved was like, what the fuck just now? And that's what I'm describing.
So do you remember a long time ago, there was that story that I told about how I tricked that guy into selling me Street Fighter 4 early, and everybody got mad at me because I was like, I don't care what happens to him, fuck him, it's an adversarial customer, yada yada, right? Like, I always assume literally that your boss will kill you for a nickel, is what I learned working in retail. They will literally slit your throat and dance in your blood for 5 cents.
Yeah, that's obviously a pat take, but
is it? You just talked about a story where I fired a lady for giving her a kidney.
But then the world is like, yeah, no. Dance, slit your throat and dance in your blood for a nickel is the exact visual here. Right? Like that's the exact visual. And you have to
say crazy shit like that and it sounds crazy and people are like, that's insane.
Yeah.
And then they get to be shocked. It's like when the COVID stuff started happening, all I can remember wondering is like, I wonder what company's gonna stay super open regardless of being told not to, right? Mm-hmm. And it's just the corporate version of those dumbasses playing ping pong on a beach in Italy when the mayor is like screaming at them to go home and they're like, the ping pong, the pizza, right? But instead, it's a guy like, we got to get the stocks up.
But it's not the same. We said at the early beginning of the podcast, the difference is those guys are stupid and don't care about what they're doing or otherwise are underestimating it versus those who are like, oh, no, this is serious and dangerous.
No. Do you know what they are? They're willfully being ignorant for their own gain. And their own game in that temporary moment is they get to play ping pong outside. For Gamestop's executives, the temporary gain is the stock prices going up.
The difference is their own selves on the line versus the lives of your employees.
It is. Yeah,
that's a large distinction.
People,
that's a distinctive factor to me. Yeah, that's a distinctive factor to me. Of course, the nature of a pandemic is that your own endangerment is also the endangerment of everyone else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they'll kill you. They'll drink your blood. They'll dance in your blood. And they'll be glad to do it. They'll be like, oh, this motherfucker always took a sick day when he was, what a bitch.
Where the fuck do you think you're going? You step on the streets,
once
I'll show up to your house with a flamethrower.
I once went to work sick and sneezed on my boss pseudo on purpose because fuck her. And she went into a rage saying, how could I have come to work sick and risk her getting sick? And it was like, because you scream at me when I call in sick and threaten to dock my hours, you bitch. Like, that is why.
That's pretty fucked up.
Well, I didn't sneeze on her on purpose. I could have averted, but I decided not to. I could have gone for the elbow. But I was like, I should mention this is like 12 years ago, guys.
Well,
you said bitch, though? I did not. I did not say bitch, though.
But sorry. You said bitch, though.
I did not say bitch, though.
Well,
that manager was so reviled. Oh my god, everyone hated her. I remember like, hey, let's all go out after, it's Christmas. We'll go to a bar, right? And she's like, can I come? And everyone just goes, eh. And then when we got to the bar, everyone angled the chairs so that she was like facing the back of a circle. Like just the most aggressive, you go away now, you horrible person.
Wow.
Oh, horrible. I did not say bitch, though.
I said
like a couple months before I quit because Best Friends was going well, she got pregnant and took her maternity leave, which is bonus fucked up considering how much shit she gave other people for getting pregnant and taking their maternity. Like,
textbook.
You know what,
textbook.
Woolie, you know what your problem is? Some of your bosses were nice to you.
So what's my problem?
Some of your bosses were nice to you. I remember meeting one of your bosses that you used to work under, and he was like a pretty cool guy.
Yeah,
and
some of my bosses were cool.
Weird.
That's
super weird.
Some of my bosses were good people. Some of my bosses were pieces of garbage. Like the world.
Yeah, that's true. All right, so the takeaway from GameStop is they are probably going to burn down and no one will notice.
I'll notice. And I'll fucking, like, I will
light a cigarette on the fucking flame.
I will, which doesn't technically work, but I'll do it nonetheless. I will sea walk on the grave, but let never forget in these moments that you are not like, yeah, I'm so happy that all these people don't have a job anymore. Right? Because
of course,
to begin with, I know, but you have to qualify that statement.
Yeah, I don't think you do. I don't think anyone's out there going, yeah, I love it when people lose their jobs, but you can't use the fact that companies employ people as a defense for the fact that they're scum. If GameStop, if it came out today that not only are they gutting your new games for used games, and they're possibly infecting people with the COVID, but also that every new copy of a game is sanctified with dead baby eyes that they killed for this purpose. You can't go, oh man, but if you shut that place down, the baby scooper will lose his job. Or the guy who delivers the baby scoops. The guy who delivers doesn't even know what's in those boxes. It's not his fault.
And that seems pretty obvious, but I say it because there's always that handful that are like, are you celebrating the fact that these people now? And it's like, obviously not.
No,
obviously not. But this is to preemptively stop that person mid-tweet.
Now, I'm sure some of the people, a minority, hopefully, who lose their jobs when GameStop dies, deserve to lose their jobs because they're scum. But most will just be regular average Joes and Janes.
The people
that
who
will
were
be like,
scared,
"Ah, crud."
the people who were fucking terrified on that phone call, who were like literally worried about what would happen next and about where their fucking lives were going, you know.
Mm-hmm.
All of those people that have to deal with this fucking anyway. Yeah. So you know that's
Reggie's looking real delicious right about now.
PR extinction. PR extinction. There's no coming back.